Hola, this video is about how to tell someone what to do in the Usted and Ustedes forms. So far we've been doing two commands when you'd be talking to someone informally. Remember, Usted means you, formal, singular, so you would use that to talk to an adult or someone you don't know very well. Ustedes is going to be you, plural. The other way to say you, plural, that you might be thinking of is vosotros. That means you, plural, informally. But the thing is, that word is only used in Spain. So since it's not that common, we do not learn it typically in Spanish class. So the good news is, all these usted and ustedes commands, both affirmative and negative, are going to be extremely similar to the two negative commands. So it's basically the same thing as the two negative commands. So that was when you have the yo form of a verb in the present tense. You take off the o and then you add the opposite ending. So I put the opposite endings here. AR verbs are going to end in es for the to form, e for the usted form, and then en for the ustedes form. ER and IR verbs end in as for the to form, a for the usted form, an for the ustedes form. I'm going to do some examples. So these are going to be the exact same as my two negative commands. So if, let's say I'm telling someone to cook, that verb is cocinar in the infinitive form. So if I'm doing two affirmative, that was one where it is really just the la usted form. I'd have cocina because it's an AR verb, so that one ends in a. So what's going to happen is this two affirmative one is going to end up being way different from all the others. So my two negative, that was one where I take my yo form, cocino, drop the o, my opposite ending would be es for my to form, and I have no cocines. Usted affirmative, like I said, all the usted, so all these usted and ustedes commands are basically going to be the same thing as my two negative ones. So I'm going to have my yo form, cocino, on all of them, drop the o. So on all of these, I took my yo form, dropped the o. Now I'm just adding the opposite ending. So for usted, it would be my e because I'm doing an AR verb. Negative, usted, I still have my e. I have to add no to make it negative, like don't cook. Ustedes affirmative, I'd have en for ustedes. And then here for ustedes negative, I'd still have en because that's my ustedes ending, but now I have to put no in front of it. So the reason I highlighted two affirmative is because it's different from all the others. Because all these other ones are take the yo, drop the o, add the opposite ending. I'm going to do an ER example now. I'm going to tell people to eat or don't eat, and to eat was comer. So my two affirmative, the one that is different, is really just the el ega usted form of my present tense. So there I have come, which is like using their normal ending. The two negative, that's I have my no, then I take my yo form, como, drop the o, opposite ending would be as now because it's two negative one. Usted affirmative, take my yo form, como, drop the o. The opposite ending for usted is an a because this is an ER verb. Usted negative, I'm still doing my take the yo, drop the o. Opposite ending is an a for any usted commands. I add my no to make it negative. Ustedes affirmative, same thing. Take my yo form, como, drop the o. Add my opposite ending, which is an for AR. Ustedes. Ustedes negative. Take the yo, drop the o. My opposite ending is an for ustedes, then I have my no for making it negative. So if you've mastered the 2 negative commands, this lesson should be extremely easy for you because you're just doing the same thing, except usted does not have the S on it, and ustedes has an N on it. So that means all the irregular rules that we learned before with 2 affirmative are still going to come into play. So since the first step is take the yo, drop the o, add the opposite ending, you still have to remember all these irregular yo verbs. So we had this chart earlier with like kaigo, pongo, ago, sigo, all the ones that end in go are going to be important to remember still. Another irregular topic we did with 2 negative was the dishes verbs. So these verbs were ones that don't end in o in the yo form. So for dar, the yo form is doi. So with 2 commands we had des. Now with usted commands we get rid of that s for usted. And then it would end in den for the ustedes ones. Because the 2 ones, 2 always ends in S, usted ends in a vowel, ustedes ends in an N. So really, to get the usted version of what you already learned from 2 negative, you just get rid of the S. To get the ustedes one, you're going to change that S into an N. So for ear, I should have mentioned dar means to give. Ear, which is to go. We had vayas for my 2 command. You get rid of that S for usted, so vaya, and then vayan for ustedes. Ser is to be. We had se, or sea, seas for the 2-1. Sea for it will be usted because you get rid of the S. Sean for ustedes because you're changing it to an N. Haber is it means like there is or there are. Once again, we are not using this one for this year, but you will probably need to know it for Spanish 3 or 4. So if you're going to use your notes, they'll write down ayas, aya, and ayan. As there's another verb tense that will be based off of those words. Estar also means to be, but that's one for feelings and location. So the 2-1 was estes. You get rid of the S for the usted version, este. Ustedes version is esten, because that one always ends in an N. Saber is to know, which was like info or how to do something. So we had sepas for 2. Sepa will be the usted, and sepan is going to be the ustedes version. So really, if you have your 2 notes and just want to mark down that you get rid of the S for usted and you change the S to an N for ustedes, that would be by far easiest way to learn these. We also did with the 2 ones, cargar star verbs. So 1, you take the yo, drop the O, and add the opposite ending. You're adding in an E with all of these, which changes it to be a different sound. So you'd still have to change the C's to QUs, G to GU, and Z to C. So if I'm telling someone to take out the trash, sacar la basura, I'm taking my yo form of sacar, which is saco, drop the O, add my opposite ending, which for usted would be an E. Now this sounds like sase instead of sake, so I have to change my C into a QU. G's here are going to change to GU. So if I am telling people to don't play, jugar is to play. So I'd have, if I'm talking to a bunch of children in the ustedes form, I'd have no juegues. and I got that, this was a U to UE verb, that's where that E came from. And then I had to change my G to GU because I'm adding an E here in the Ustedes.